Yeah, I think that's always a danger. That certainly isn't the case. That they're an alternative. I always see the Special Constabulary as additional. They're not there to replace regular officers. They are an additional support to help the constabulary. And if you look back at the very first setup for the Special Constabulary, it always was to support the regulars. Now, they are cheaper. I think we've discussed that earlier. About £3,500 start-up costs for a Special Constable. We're really careful that we make sure that we get the return on investment on that. So we work very hard to make sure that the Special Constables do the requisite number of hours to make sure that we get that return on investment. Also, don't forget, they're not working full-time. Most of the people have full-time jobs and are doing this unpaid in their own time. So what we normally look at is most specials to do 16 hours a month minimum, and that will give us our return on investment. There is always that concern of, are they taking overtime, are they doing other issues? That really, is increasingly less and less said, and that's really positive. People do see them as, that additional bit, helping us do maybe that extra bit that we otherwise wouldn't be able to do. Okay, I think one of the interesting issues for most police services is getting people to join the Special Constabulary hasn't normally been an issue. Retention always has been a bit of an issue, so we work very hard to improve that retention. Make sure that we get comparable training, that we get better kit. And one example I think, which I would like to give, is that we've really pushed very hard on independence. Having specials independent means they're an extra, much more valuable asset. And of course they can take out a trainee with them. So from our point of view, having independent specials is really vital. And one of the rewards, as it were, for getting independent is you get some more of your own kit. So you get fast rap, you get your own personal radio rather than to go to a pool. Might seem little, but for a lot of the specials that really mattered. And that was a really symbolic change in Hampshire Constabulary, that they were feeling valued, that they're being taken seriously, and that their achievement in getting independent, and that does take about a year, broadly speaking, was really valued. So we've worked very hard on making sure that, as well as we keep recruiting, we retain numbers, because we have got some challenging targets to reach with the Special Constabulary of 550 by April next year and 650 by the year after. Now, what's equally important with that is it isn't just about numbers. Back to the point I made earlier, they need to be doing on average 16 hours a month to make sure that we get return on investment. So the target does specify both issues. Yeah, we've done it both internally and externally. Internally, for any police staff member that wants to become a Special Constable, we've increased the number of days paid leave they get off to be a special from 5 to 12. So it's 12 8-hour shifts. So our own staff, and we have about 40 of our own staff who are Special Constables. So we've made sure that they get the requisite time off. We've also worked very closely with outside employees, and I've been really lucky. I had a couple of really very proactive employees, both Gunwharf Quays and Festival Place, who came and suggested to us the employer supporting scheme some time ago, whereby some of their staff are released, sometimes during paid time, to become Special Constables. Now, these are large shopping centres. In return, we will undertake to make sure that the specials patrol a beat which includes that shopping centre. So everybody benefits. And what's also really, and we'll be very hard pushing this, is that the staff get a lot of extra training that would almost be too expensive to buy otherwise. So the staff who work for us get that additional training of dealing with conflict, communication skills, stuff which really helps every day in the workplace and prevents stock loss, but also helps with customer care. Yeah, I've been very fortunate that I've been in Hampshire Constabulary for 27 years, built up a very strong network around that. It does take personal enthusiasm, both from regulars and specials, to make this happen. I've got a very good top team for Special Constables. We have a Chief Special Officer and Deputy Chief Special Officer, and now 3 Assistant Chief Special Officers, and they work really hard with me to achieve the key objectives that we set out for the Constabulary. And it's a bit like a fourth road bridge moment. It's never done, but each time we get a bit nearer to completing it. So we work very hard to build resilience, make sure the Special Constabulary is self-supporting, and I do call on those networks of people I have, both regulars and specials, to help me make it happen. Because it's all very well saying make it happen from the top, but at what happens at the local level, at inspector level, at sergeant level, at DO level, at SO level, really matters. In that, if I arrive on a shift, is it really happening there? That's what really matters. So it is using those contacts right across the organisation to keep the drive on, keep the enthusiasm on, and keep the positive feeling going forward. So we have quarterly workshops which will have both regulars and specials come to. We've got one coming up in May, and that's a really good opportunity again to talk about new ideas, talk about challenges, and talk about how we can overcome them. Well, we set out a very clear vision for the Special Constabulary. We want to be integrated and valued, trained and equipped to deliver. And when you read that statement, and we do deliver that every time we do a workshop, we talk about that vision for Hampshire Constabulary specials. I always say to staff, would you recognise that vision? And the ultimate aim, of course, is when I read that to a room and everyone just nods and says yes. So when I get 100% people saying yes, that's what it feels like, then I know I've arrived.